Well, the case from the group committee back in 1953 decided that they would start a building fund to build a hall. It was Harold Oldroyd, who was our group scoutmaster's desire, vision, that we had our own home, and if you donated £1, it was a tax deduction, and that kick-started the building fund. Bob Archibald, who owned the local store in Wanneroo Road in Chewett Hill, gave us a block of land on the corner of Lawley Street and Frape Avenue to build our scout hall. We had got a electricity box and water on. We had some materials on site, but then the then Perth Roads Board Secretary, Mr O'Malley, informed the group that they couldn't build there because they had now rezoned the area as a residential site. But they had this land between Villiers Street and Royal Street, Croydon Avenue and Clearview, and they were prepared to give us the first 3 blocks on a 99-year peppercorn lease. And we proceeded to remove what building materials we had on the corner there at Frape Avenue and Lawley to bring them up to our site here. A lot of the materials came out of East Perth, old homes in East Perth, which were being pulled down. And if you went and you could go and pick up the materials from the site. And that's how we got bricks and material for the building of our house. We cleaned bricks until we looked like bricks. But that was really the start up here on the building site. We moved a lot of material from the original site up to here. We started October, I think it was October 55 when we started laying the brick piers for the flooring. And it progressed from 1955 until 1957 when we completed the building. There were mainly 3 men that were involved really in building this place. Mr. DC at the time, Mac Benford, our group scoutmaster, Noel Chandler, and my father, Reg Denny. And it was completed, and we now have a home. And Harold Oldroyd, who was our group scoutmaster, never saw this building. He died of cancer in the June of 1957, and he was known as Wheelock, Old Man of the Tribe. That was his scouting name. Wheelock, he was a great guy. Had camped with Baden-Powell before he came out from England, and so because of his death, the group committee decided that they would name the house Wheelock House. And it's sad that he didn't see his vision completed. That photograph that you've got there is the first lot of stuff coming from Lawley Street and Frape Avenue up to the site here. If you go from left to right, you come from the left side here, the guy standing with the arms folded is Robert Sayer. The person back is my father, Reg Denny. The young bloke with the rake is my brother Richard, and behind him is Ron Sweet. The guy who's standing on the truck digging out, I think he was pulling out wood, is Ken Chandler. The little bloke in the front is Barry Savage, and the guy standing, leaning on the wheel as yours truly, as an 11-year-old. Saturday, the 16th of November 1957, my father was the group secretary-treasurer, and he wrote to Scout headquarters asking for them to approach Government House to get the Chief Scout to come and open the hall. And headquarters wrote back and said, the Governor as our Chief Scout is too busy to open Scout halls, which didn't sit too well with my father. Captain Billy Boucher, who was the ADC to the Governor, played polo. And my father commentated polo for 50 years, and on the Sunday, after they'd got the knockback from headquarters, my father tackled him at polo and said, "What's this rubbish about the Chief Scout not being able to open Scout halls?" And Billy Boucher said he didn't know anything about it, but he would investigate. A week later, we got a letter, came to my father, with a CC to Scout headquarters to say that there was two days in November that the Governor would be available to open our Scout hall. And they all looked at the dates and said the 16th of November will be a great day because the lawn will be absolutely perfect. That's how we got the Governor. When Sir Charles Gardner, the Governor and Chief Scout, arrived, of course we had the national anthem played by the Western Command Band, and we were then given the order to open order march, which meant that we were in 3 rows, and we had to take 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. And he walked past us and inspected us and spoke to some of us. He didn't speak to me, but he did later on. I'll come to that. And the Governor came and inspected our campsite and had a look in the tent and saw this baby in a pusher, sound asleep. And he passed a comment that he wished he'd had some of the gadgets that we had rigged whilst he was in the army. And we had a long chat, and then he went on. And he was here for about 3 hours before we went. The opening ceremony was 2 o'clock, and I think he went about 4:30, something like that, but he spent quite a bit of time. And it's interesting, Sir Charles Gardner has only ever been in this district twice. Once was to open this hall, and the other was to open the Osborne Park show. It was the only time Sir Charles Gardner came in the area. And it was a great day. The painting at the front of our entranceway of a Scout was done by one of the Scouts in the group. It was quite good in drawing and artwork, as can be seen by the Scout. Well, of course, there's this wonderful collection of scarves that are on the wall, been beautifully restored and mounted by the current group leader, and would be possibly the best collection of scarves in any Scout hall. Probably the only place that would be have a better collection of scarves would be the Scout Heritage Centre, of which I'm the chairman of. But it's a wonderful collection of scarves that start from, it's hard to talk about them because they've all got some significance. There's some from America. A lot of the overseas scarves have come from guys that have been to jamborees and have swapped them and then have donated them back to the group to put on the board. Comment on is the fact that the Rover Den that was built out the back there by guys, 18 to 26-year-olds we were. We started the Rover crew here in Chewett Hill in 1962. There were 6 of us. And 6 of us virtually built that. We never laid a brick in our life. And we had a couple of parents that were brickies, and they came up and helped us to plumb the wall and all that was necessary to do. We measured up the building to order the concrete, to do the concrete floor and the storeroom. But of course, not being builders, what did we do? We did the outside measurements of the building, not the internal measurements. So we had a great heap of concrete left in the back of the truck, which we then spread out, had to hurriedly level out a bit of the ground out the front of the rover den to put the rest of the concrete down, and we made nice concrete steps and everything. Chucked some bricks together to make the concrete steps. And the doors to the rover den are quite old, probably be about 150 years old now. They were in a building in Kings Park Road. You may recall there's the building that looks like a thermoflask, got a green top on it. One of the guys was driving past, saw these doors and windows sitting on the heap. He went and asked the builder what was going to happen to them. The builder said, "Do you want them? Collect them tonight." So round up 6 guys, went down with the troop truck and loaded them on, and that's the front doors of the rover den now.